I've got a bone to pick with you, Mr.
Which is fine.
Which
and
is
you're
fine.
allowed, and you're allowed
Yeah.
to disagree with things.
I'll start off with the body positive.
Please go through your notes.
Hammering.
Which ones?
Oh, she's got notes.
Are they really not? Oh my God.
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, Butterfield here, and welcome to the best bits of the Cancel Me Now podcast. On today's episode, we have the great Georgia Productions, and we talked all manner of things. She wasn't happy with the Buttsman on some of his TikToks, but we had a good conversation, and then she punched me in the face. So check out my conversation right buddy now with the great Georgia Productions.
I'll start off with the body positive.
Please go through your notes.
Hammering.
Which ones?
Oh, she's got notes.
Are they really not? Oh my God.
No, do it.
I was writing it out
Destroy
just to
him.
remember what I wanted to say.
No, that's okay.
But
That's good.
basically, it's not. Basically, so I watched your video, and it was the one where you duetted a girl wearing jeans, and she was like, "I look sexy, like, there's no reason why I shouldn't wear these," and you were like, "Look, I think that's just a fucking like."
That is what you sound like.
No, it was,
I don't know.
no,
That's
hang on.
appropriate.
I have the quote here.
Can you do the act? If you got to quote him, you got to do the voice.
You said using. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Using body positivity as an excuse for women and some men to be lazy. Look, I totally agree. I agree with that. I think that some people do use that as a scapegoat. They do use that as an excuse. But I think this case, I didn't agree with the video you used. I think that the girl was, I honestly saw that and I thought, she looks like someone who's just genuinely got a lot of loose skin from weight loss.
Okay.
And I saw that and I was like, that's a girl who's only just got the confidence in that weight loss to put a pair of jeans on and have a bit of stomach showing.
And film it and
And
post
film
it
it.
online.
Whose side are you on?
And I saw it,
No, I'm saying like.
I saw that as just someone, she wasn't saying, I hate men and I want to prove that like my body is beautiful and perfect. She was just trying to feel sexy in a pair of jeans because not everyone has the facilities or like the luxury to be able to get that skin removed. So I think that was her way of trying to accept that I look like this and I'm proud of the weight loss. Like I read through the comments and a lot of people were saying I've lost a lot of weight. This is excess skin. So it's like I agree with what you're saying because there is people out there that do use body positivity, like women and men, as a scapegoat, as something to just like make an excuse for being, make an excuse for being lazy. But there's also, I didn't think the video you used was like referring to what you were trying to get across. I think that's why people were so upset because they were like, she's literally lost heaps of weight and you're having a go at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And if that's the case, then obviously I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I haven't looked at her story or anything like that. And
Yeah.
you know how much shit I post.
Yeah.
Like who knows? A lot of things happen between now and then, so I can't really recall exactly. I know who you're talking about, but I don't recall going through her stuff. I'd have to have a look at it to really give a proper view on it. But yeah, no, you're right. If someone loses weight and then they have all this loose skin, then fuck, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Like you're trying your heart out.
Not everyone has the like luxury to pay for surgery to get
The
it
guy
removed.
from My Name Is Earl, his name's escaping me at the moment, but the really big dude.
Supley.
Yeah, Ethan Suplee. Yeah, and he was the same. Because he was in, not Remember the Titans? What was the other football one? He was huge.
Yeah, yeah.
And he lost like 150 kilos and like was shredded. Like he looked unbunbelievable. But he just couldn't get rid of the skin.
Yeah,
And he'd
yeah.
had surgeries and he's still like, I hate my body. Like, and he like looked great, but he just had, it's
belly
crazy.
buttons
Like that.
down there.
Yeah. It's just like that extreme weight loss.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what happens when you obviously are so large and your skin. The only case I've heard of where people actually have lost all that weight and it shrunk down was this dude. He fasted for 2 years.
Yeah.
Didn't eat for 2 years. Or it might have been 12 months actually.
how was he sustaining himself?
He was a giant dude, severely overweight, and his body just consumed the fat that they stored. And because he was not eating anything else, he wasn't even fasting. Apparently his skin like shrunk to the point where it was not quite noticeable that he had been quite large.
Wow.
That's wild.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to go back and have a look at it. But, obviously that's not the point I'm trying to get across, that people with a loose skin are bad
Again,
people.
I'm not trying to say you're a dickhead because I know you're a freaking gentleman.
Nah, fucking get into him.
No, I think it was also because one of my friends actually sent me the video and was like, I really like Isaac, but this hit home to me because I have a friend who is a bit bigger. Like she's a big girl, but she's always been that way. And she basically said, she was like, this hit home to me because it was what you said at the end where you said it's an excuse not to get on a fucking treadmill. And she was basically like, she works harder than most people I know. Like she has 3 jobs. She goes, she's on her feet all day, every day, exercises daily. She eats a very healthy, normal diet, but she's just always been a bit bigger. And she basically just said it hit home because I try my best to just be healthy and to maintain, how I look. And she's struggled with say unhealthy weight loss before. And she's like, there's times where I get that confidence back and then I see a video like that and I'm like, damn, is that all from the surface I look like? Like from a first glance, you don't know everyone's story. And I also know a friend of mine who has a condition called lymphedema.
Lipedema, yeah.
And basically it is just stubborn fat you cannot physically get rid of. And she is fitter than me. She goes to the gym every day. And she discovered it because she got to a point where she wasn't losing any weight anymore. And she was like, hang on, I was going so good. What's happening? So she was diagnosed with this horrible, the way that she explained it, horrible disease where she physically, you have to get liposuction
surgery
to get rid of it.
Yeah, lipedema is this strange, I don't know if it's fat cells that accumulate or it's fluid that
It is fat cells, yeah.
It is? It just accumulates and it basically, your body turns into, it often seems to be the lower limbs too that it affects. It's really, I was talking to this lady on TikTok who had it and she was looking for tips and I was just, because it has something to do with inflammation, I remember saying to her, try the keto diet because that's what helped me with inflammation in my body and maybe that helps. And apparently there is this research suggesting that the keto diet does help with lipedema and all that type of stuff. And, people when they go through a weight loss journey that I've done myself, and this is why I'm passionate about this shit is because I've run into so many roadblocks and I could have at any time sat back and gone, I can't do it. I can blame this. I can say this. I'm on my medication. That's what's stopping me from losing weight, which a lot of people do. And it probably does affect a lot of people. But what I did was I dieted harder and trained harder and got over that hump. And I just feel like the more, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that the more excuses you give yourself in life or in anything, the easier it will be to hold you back in other circumstances. Yeah. And this is why I'm hard on it because there was a dude yesterday, I was getting my car serviced and I drove past him and he was doing whippersnipping out the front. And he goes, oh, the butt's mine. He said, mate, I was 190 kilos. I'm down to 125 because of you. And
Pretty
so
good.
it's hearing shit like that. It's really good. I hear not just men, but ladies as well. They're like, oh, I did this because of listening to your podcast on this and all that type of stuff. So it is doing a positive thing. And maybe when I made fun of Old Love, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe she isn't this body positivity carry on. And the point I'm making in that is a lot of people have excuses and they use body positivity to hide those excuses. And you can be, yourself and be whatever weight you want to be. It's got nothing to do with me. But I just think that the more you put that out there, it is a negative thing for the people that are around you. 50% of the people on this planet, or maybe in the Western world anyway, are obese. And with things like COVID that people are terrified of and they're shutting everything down, and that affects on greater numbers than anything else, especially if you're under the age of 65, people who are obese. I think when people get up and say you can be any size and you're beautiful, I think you can. You can be beautiful and you might be a beautiful person, but I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, and if I got
that woman looked nowhere near dying. Just putting it out there, though.
My one,
the one that you duetted.
I need to refresh because I can't remember.
That's all I'm getting at. I think it was just the wrong video to use.
Yeah, and
say if it was someone literally
like a proper sloth type.
Your words, not mine.
No, but I know what you're.
But say if it was someone who was.
It was this lady.
Like, to me, that just looks like loose skin.
It was more the way she went, I'm hot. And maybe it's the American accent that got me. Maybe it's, I'm hot, I'm sexy, I'm beautiful. And my thing was like, shut the fuck up, all right? Like, what are you talking about?
But, like, I guess my point is, like, say if it was someone who was genuinely saying and advocating eating Maccas every day is fine because I'm hot and sexy. You know, not working out, sitting at home watching TV is fine because it's empowering. Like, say if it was someone who was genuinely, like, vocalizing unhealthy habits, that would make sense. But I guess just because she wasn't hurting anyone, and she, to me, like, you know, she's not overweight, she's not obese, like, she's just wants to wear a pair of jeans and feel comfortable. I think that was the issue that a lot of people had. Does that make sense?
No, of course. If that's her story and she's like genuinely trying to be healthier, then it's a great message. You know, you can dress however you want.
Sorry, go.
Go for it.
No, I was going to say, I think the last point is, like, women are in society and just in life are always, like, taught, or, you know, they have this, we always feel this pressure to be smaller, and, like, you got to be smaller than the man, you got to be shorter, and, you know, you see tall girls walking around with terrible posture because they're trying to be shorter. And you see, you know, girls, like, a point that you made in the video was, like, there's also, like, really unrealistic body standards for men. You know, you got to pump your body full of hormones and, like, testosterone and, like, illegal substances to get that big. And I 100% agree there is, like, unrealistic body standards for men, but there's also, on the flip side, unrealistic body standards for women, because some women cannot
100%.
be small and don't have the foundations to allow that. Like, you know, I'm not speaking from experience because I've always been small. I've never really struggled with weight loss or weight. I do have, like, I can recognize that I have the luxury to be able to just eat what I want and not have to worry about it. But it's the pressure that all women feel to, like, be small and, like, skinny. Like, you want to be picked up, and, like, like a lot of girls can't. I have a lot of girls who are insecure because they're like, oh, what if a guy can't pick me up, or what if I can't get a piggyback or something. And that
motherfucker needs to do some deadlifts. Get stronger, bro. But no, you're right. But where does this come from? I think that was like one of the points in that video. And when I said at the end, get on a fucking treadmill, what I was saying was, from memory, of course, and I'm paraphrasing, it's a lot harder for a dude to achieve these goals of being fucking jacked. So you see these dudes at the gym, and you know this, you've played footy for a long time, and how many dudes are on roids?
Yeah, it's rampant. Rampant. It's not rampant, but more than you'd think. Yeah.
And these dudes, like these, like, ripped bodies, all that we see on the telly and that, like, they are not natural people.
Yeah.
Like, these, unless they're very, very lucky, they're not natural people. And so my point was, it is a lot easier for a woman to jump on a treadmill to lose weight than it is to pump your body full of steroids and then potentially destroy your kidneys and kill yourself. Well, not kill yourself, but kill you eventually. I think that was my point. And obviously when I say something on TikTok, I'm saying it in a way to try and elicit a response, which it did. Yes, and that's what I do.
Is it, I don't know, is there a fine line, like, this is for like guys who are making content all the time and reading or not reading the comments, you have to take some of it on board, or do you just block everything out? Like, is there some comments that are like good constructive criticism that's worth taking on board, or do you just go, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want all the time?
I had one bloke say to me, you sound shit in your studio. And he sent me all these links and stuff.
But is there stuff
like fuck off, mate.
There's some
stuff like control. Like, if there's like comments that are coming over and over again, you know, it was like, is there stuff that's worth taking on board sometimes, or do you just go? Depends.
It's case by case.
Yeah. I got a comment or a few comments when I was kind of going through a breakup and I wasn't really doing much else other than the things I needed to do, like brands. And I got a few comments being like, look, love you, Georgia, but the brand deals, like, I'm out if you're going to keep forcing this down my throat.
And so with something like that, I suppose you're aware of that already anyway. You go like, well, yeah.
And I was like, and I had to scroll down. I was like, oh my God, it's been like ad. And I was like, that's not a good look. Yeah. So like, it was constructive. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think people will accept the ads if you just make sure there's enough content on there to keep everybody happy, for sure.
Yeah,
like
organic stuff.
Yeah, and they just go, okay, that's fine. Like, I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos and we had a we had an offer from Hungry Jack's to do a brand deal.
I love Whoppers.
Well, it was about the vegan Whopper, and I turned it down
I like vegan Whoppers.
I was like, nah, man, I don't want to sell out this early.
The vegan, what was it actually about the vegan?
It was about the vegan.
That would be hilarious, you selling vegan
They
Whoppers.
wanted me to. I know, it's still a good idea.
That's a
Hungry
head
Jack's,
job.
fucking head. Do
Reach
it.
out, Hungry Jack's.
100K, bitch.
What did they want to collab? Like buy a vegan Whopper and get a Isaac Butterfield bumper sticker in it.
No,
too.
no, they wanted me to eat the vegan Whopper, the vegan Whopper on the vegan Whopper on the ad or whatever.
Yeah.
And me and the management were like, nah, man, we're gonna wait for a bigger deal to come.
It's not much bigger than Hungry Jack's.
It never came. We needed Macca's to hit us up.
Yeah. We can do better.
But now I'm like, I'll do anything. Man, I've done brand deals for fucking gambling agencies who like pull the slot machines and people go, this is disgusting. I go, I don't give a fuck. Paid me. Like, you've got to make cash somewhere.
You've got to pay the bills.
Did they want to like pitch it to you like we want to make this an ad that'll turn like meat eaters vegan? So were they like
no, they were just
Whopper's so good, Isaac Butterfield froth so
That makes sense.
like, do you know what I mean? Did they want you specifically? Because
we changed this idiot's
everyone
mind.
knows you don't associate with vegan.
This stubborn, bigoted idiot even likes.
Yeah,
Known racist now eats plant burgers.
yeah.
I think with comments, you got to give them a wide berth every now and then. Do you think it's easier for women to find sexual partners?
Yes and no. I think for some women, yes. Like, I think it's so easy. Like, I know a few of my girlfriends who could literally get any guy they wanted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's definitely that I have friends who struggle in the dating world and don't seem to find anyone.
Dating or finding a route?
Or just finding a route, yeah.
I think that any woman can find a route, but I don't think that
Really?
any man could find a route.
You sound like that stupid Fresh and Fit podcast. Did you hear
What's
that
that?
lock and key reference that he made?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I've used that on this podcast before.
Yeah, I know you
oh
have.
my God, the way he referred to his penis as a master key. How old are you? Are you 14?
That's
yeah,
funny.
see this little thing in between my legs? That's a fucking master key, bro.
That's funny.
It's not. He was, but he was dead serious.
No,
he was
that-
like,
yeah, okay.
he was like, what did he say? He goes, put it this way, right? Put it this way. A key that can unlock any lock is a master key, but a lock that opens to any key is a shitty lock. And I was like, did you just honestly refer to genitals as like inanimate objects?
I mean,
It's pretty funny.
he's not wrong.
He is. Holy shit. I've never disagreed with anything more in my life. How could you say that?
Okay, here's why.
That's fucking horrible. He's basically saying that women who open themselves up to any man
He's
are
joking,
worthless. He is
obviously.
not. Oh,
No, I don't
I don't
think
know
this
this
dude
dude.
is
I don't
not
think
joking.
he's not joking.
I'm sorry. I'm rearing up here.
Let's go.
This was so misogynistic.
Who
it's
gave
not
her that
funny.
can of Coke?
It was so misogynistic, it's not funny. He was literally saying, if you have opened yourself up, if you opened your vagina to anyone else, like you're a bit worthless, you're a shitty lock, like you're an easy route. But because I've got a master key, because I've got a penis, I can unlock any lock. That makes me like more like higher value.
Yep.
If I can get a route. Whereas if a girl can get any route, it's because she's a slut.
Isn't that funny because he's being
I think it is so backwards.
Well, here's what I think about it, because I think he's sort of on the right track. Now,
He's warning you. Don't bite. He's warning you.
no.
Don't bite.
Claire disagrees with me on
It
this
is
as well.
so backwards.
Well, this is what I'm
It
saying.
literally goes back to that whole purity thing.
Here's what I'm saying.
It is
right?
true for locks and keys though. Like just locks and keys.
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely
the
true.
way that he's like literally a child and the only
What's-
thing he could think of was an inanimate object.
What's the
He also made a reference. Sorry.
what was this?
He
No,
also,
this is fine.
He also made a reference about cars. He was like, right, so if a man's going to buy a car, like, I don't want it to be test driven beforehand, right? So like, he literally talked about women as if they were fucking cars. He
You
was
are
like,
hammering this bloke.
is this like if, but the way he genuinely thought he was saying something, it was just honestly hilarious. He was like, I just don't want any other man to have test driven that car.
Surely he's taking a piss.
No,
No, he's
this
not.
dude
Who
is
is
fresh and fit or some shit.
Oh, it was so like infuriating to watch. And what really infuriated me, they handpick the women that they put on this podcast.
Yeah, I've never watched the podcast. I've only seen the clips.
These women, I'm sorry, there's not much going on up there. And they handpick them because they know this bitch isn't going to have a comeback.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've literally could say anything and she's not going to have a comeback. Like it is.
So let me just mansplain it to you. No, because what he's saying is it's easier if a man can get a lot of sex, then he's like a stud. And if a woman can get a lot of sex, it's a lot easier. So
no, he's saying if a woman can get a lot of sex, she's a whore. That's exactly what he's saying.
She's not a good lock.
She's not a
She's not good for
lock.
securing
She's
bikes.
a loose like lock that no one wants to fuck. That's exactly what he's saying.
Where that comes from though. Do you think it's because of, well, no, it couldn't be that because it's men pass on venereal disease.
He didn't say
as well.
easy, he said shitty lock, meaning like like no one wants you if you've been around.
Well, I don't think it's true that people don't want.
Do you think a bloke who's slept around is attractive?
I really don't care.
I don't think it's.
This was on Maths the other day. Old mate goes, I've had 350 partners.
I think a lot of the girls would go,
fucking
I mean, that's quite a lot for anyone, to be honest.
Respect.
But you, as a woman, you could get 350 partners over 5 years if you wanted to.
Oh,
And
it's
and
not
if I
every
met
woman.
someone, and definitely not every woman. But if I met someone and they said, I've been with 350 people, I'd probably be like, Jesus Christ.
I guess
it's a bit gross.
I guess I can understand because women are more sexually selective than men. Men will like.
So that's where I think it's coming from. It's like dudes, like this is
Blokes
the
will
thing.
root anything.
Anything.
Blokes
Anything,
will root
Georgia.
anything warm and wet. They'll be like
100%.
a bag of like baked beans. They'll be like, yeah,
What?
that looks
American
good.
Pie.
Take warm out.
Yeah.
Why is it going to be warm or wet? What the fuck's that?
Warm or wet, dry and fucking a little bit chilly.
I hear 'em chat